Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here, coming at you from the Knife Center, and it's our favorite time of the week, again, because it's Thursday, and I've got the coolest new knives that have just hit our shelves right here on the table in front of me. So let's get into it.
It's Tuesday.
You're right. As Thomas so astutely pointed out, this is Tuesday, and it is a bonus episode of New Knives of the Week because, as winds up happening typically during the holiday season, manufacturers are trying to get their products out just in time, and there are a ton of new releases. And me running on autopilot when I'm doing New Knives of the Week, it's usually Thursday, so I said Thursday, but it's not Thursday, it's Tuesday. But on Thursday, there will be more new knives. So,
now that we've explained the joke,
well, they had to know that this was a bonus episode. It's not replacing New Knives of the Week on Thursday, it's an addition to. So, let's start off things. It is the holiday season, as mentioned, and we've got some Christmas knives to commemorate that. From Microtech, at the point we're filming this, we've got 3 different variations of the Hera 2 Mini. These two have the drop point blade. We also have green with the double-edged blade. And by the end of the week, I think we're gonna have a couple more than just these. I don't even know what they are yet at the time we're filming this, so you'll have to keep an eye out at the site. But here you go, you got a green and a red aluminum version with the Christmas lights on each. And this knife is using Microtech's latest innovations in OTF technology, their latest generation of what they do, meaning you've got an easier to use mechanism than prior generations. It still fires quite nicely. There's less friction thanks to the serrations in here, or the crud cutter as they call it. Also allows pocket lint to find a place to kind of get out of the way of the action of the switch there on the side. And I'm like evaluating things in my head right now. If I were to buy a new Microtech today to use as an EDC, this would be high on the list for me. The reason for that is the blade geometry right here. A lot of Microtechs tend to be a little bit on the thicker side. They're going more for that kind of overbuilt tactical type of blade geometry or blade stock. The Hera 2 Mini is a little bit thinner. It's a little bit slicier. I'm not a tactical guy so much, so this appeals to me a little bit more. And it's really nicely done here. M390 MK steel, their proprietary version of M390, offering very good edge retention. Kind of similar to standard M390, but very, very good stuff. Slim aluminum frame for the carry option right there. It's going to be very easy to incorporate into a daily carry setup, or at least my daily carry setup. Milled pocket clip here, ball bearing for the retention point. All the details are spot on. Take your pick, green or red, or double-edged in the green, or more options to come. Keep an eye out on the site. Next up, sort of Christmassy themed, although not explicitly, this is the Real Steel Carly. That's Carly with a K and a Y. Easy. A few different versions of this knife. This is the only one of them that feels sort of like Yuletide festive. There's a black frame with red striping, a purple frame with, was that silver striping, and this green with gold striping as well. It's aluminum frame. The outer layer is the green color, and the kind of milled lines have that opposite color, and the gold backspacer as well. $48 for this, so quite affordable, and it's a really clean shape overall. Very useful design too. 3.11 inches on the drop point blade. Nice and slim on that blade stock. So that is just a fantastic little daily cutter right there. Slim on the aluminum handles as well. Kind of similar to the Microtech actually. It's going to be very easy and very unobtrusive when carried. We've got a deep carry pocket clip. It is reversible. It's actually mounted inside the frame there, poking out the back, so quite deep carry. You can see we've also got an inset liner lock. Even with the thinness of the aluminum frames there, they still inset things there to keep it nice and trim. There's just enough space for it. And let's check out the action, shall we? Feels really good. And actually, it's ball bearings, but it almost feels like a washer-based system right there. Feels really nice. I really like how slim that blade is. That is going to be just a very agreeable cutter overall. VG10 steel on that. Quite capable stuff, especially in this price range, sub $50. That is a pretty big deal. Great item for gift season for sure. Next one kind of has some kind of novelty gift ability to it as well, especially considering the price. This is the Baby Barlow from Real Steel, coming in just over 15 bucks right now. Sandvik 12C27 blade steel, so stainless, pretty darn tough, holds a pretty decent edge as well. 1.5 inches on that sheep's foot blade length right there. Not quite as slicey of a geometry overall because you're dealing with such a stubby blade here, even with the full flat grind, but it's going to be a really cool little box opener, package opener, that sort of thing especially. Stainless steel for the handles, classic slip joint type of non-locking mechanism there, with a half stop too, which is pretty nice. A lot of knives may or may not have that. This one does. And on a small knife like that, that little extra safety measure is definitely appreciated. Very cool. Great stocking stuffer item for sure. Next up, we have the Ostap Hell Perix from Real Steel. And this, along with the other Perix models, which we have versions of this starting around the $60 mark. Those come with G10 handles and Nitro V steel. Micarta is also available. This one right here, same blade steel, but upgraded to titanium on the handles. This comes in at 95 right now. And the thing I like about this knife and several other of Real Steel's designs this year is they're leaning into kind of an old school, old world pocket knife method, but completely like bringing it up to modern production standards, and that's the folded steel frame right here. And they're doing it with several crossbar locks, such as you see on this knife right here, which is extra cool in my opinion. Very, very neat. The advantage of that is fewer screws to like come loose. The handle's not gonna get wiggly over time. It's gonna be solid, stable, without needing adjustment, and just be nice and strong, which is pretty cool. Blade itself is 3.5 inches long. You got that Nitro V steel there for very good toughness and stainless performance there. Pretty good edge retention as well. Not going to equal stuff like, you know, your particle steels out there, but I'd put it up there with stuff like the VG10 we looked at on the previous Real Steel. That first one was at the Carly, sorry. Good capable stuff and a really cool distinctive drop point blade. Almost borders on like a spear point type of vibe too. I'm not sure if that's actually a dead center line blade. We might qualify that as a spear point, or I might qualify that as a spear point. It's drop point on the site, but anyway. Crossbar lock, titanium handles as mentioned, wire pocket clip mounted from the inside as well. So again, very deep carry and a nice classy look thanks to the wire construction of it right there. Also pretty cleanly integrated as well. The retention from that is provided by this one single screw here at the back, and that pulls kind of double duty. It's attaching the titanium scales to the bent metal frame and holding the pocket clip in place as well. It's not really doing structural duty for the frame itself, it's just to hold things on there. But I like how cleanly that kind of wraps things up and incorporates it. It gives you the reversibility without a extra pocket screws on the front and that sort of thing. Just really nice. Action, pretty good, nice and smooth. This is another one of those things that I'm pretty sure it's ball bearings, but it feels almost like that a little more washer-like, a little more of that kind of like greased pan smoothness going on. I like it. Yeah, very cool. It's 3.5 inches long and stable, sturdy with that construction there. So you've got a pretty hard working thing, and yet very slim, very easy to carry day to day. It's a bit of a theme developing for today's stuff. The next one, using that same kind of folded steel frame, is the Poltergeist Works designed Vis from Real Steel, VIS. 43 bucks and some change for this. You got a 2 3/4 inch blade, Sandvik 12C27 in this case again. And this is the denim micarta version, but there are a bunch of different handle options right now. Let me just check real quick to see how many we've got. About 8 different ones to pick from. There's pink, OD green, gray, natural, white, G10 and micarta options, all coming in, like I said, just over 43 bucks. Really cool price for this, and a pretty cool knife too. Nice and thin on the blade stock. This is gonna be pretty slicey indeed. The pocket clip is very deep carry again. It's actually wrapped around the back end. So even though the clip's on this side, the screws holding it in are from the opposite side. And yes, it is reversible as well. This is a fully ambidextrous knife. Action, quite good. This has a little bit more of that kind of telltale ball bearing feel to it. Just really nice. Actually, another cool detail they're doing using this bent steel construction here, the Perix you can see has a stop pin for the tang of the blade, but this one is actually using the folded frame itself to act as that stop pin. So that's one more less part to go wrong over time. Very, very cool. Next up, we have, as I said, several real steels. This is the Hoeft, H-O-E-F-T, by Austin Fox. 3¼ inch S35 VN blade, titanium handles with micarta inlays and a micarta button here for the button lock. It's a little bit more than your standard button lock, however. Let me kind of show you what it is. You can kind of see what's going on there from the back. You see this giant block of metal kind of moving with the button right there. And that is basically the lock bar. And you can kind of think of this as kind of a hybrid between a button lock and a frame lock, in that, you know, the frame itself is not moving, but this chunk of metal is interfacing with the back side of the tang of the blade here, kind of like a frame lock would kind of slip into place to do the locking mechanism. And yet you're able to use the button to actuate it. There's, you know, main spring, a few different posts acting as stop bar and stabilizer bars, basically, to keep things lined up and sturdy. If it pulls off what it's kind of promising here by what we're seeing, it should be very strong indeed. And the handle backs that up, or it backs up the idea that you could use it very aggressively, because there's a bit of thickness and girth to it. It has a quite hand-filling grip, despite the, you know, relatively small size overall. It just feels like a solid, you know, a solidly designed tool with ergonomic considerations placed upon it, knowing that you're going to want to use this hard and use it, you know, for long stretches of time. If you wanted to, you could pull it off with this. But overall, everything's really well executed. I like the crown spine on here. I like the single screw for the pocket clip. It's using a kind of folded in tab to keep it from wiggling back and forth, so it only needs one screw to secure it. Not reversible though. So that is the trade-off for that in this case. Just overall, super, super nicely done. And different variants are available, not just the natural canvas right here. A few different options to choose from. Next up, from Real Steel, the last Real Steel for today. It's an update of a design. I think they first debuted about 7 or 8 years ago, and that's the Griffin. This is the Griffin Pro from Real Steel, $48, and this is another one of those, like, you're getting a lot of knife for $48 right here. 3½ inch blade, 14C 28N Sandvik steel. A little bit on the tougher side thanks to the slightly thicker blade stock right there. Full flat grind to keep it slicey enough. And micarta handles, 3 different options. Button lock, same as the original, but now with an added safety as well. So if you kind of worry about, if you're working a button lock hard, accidentally depressing that button and unlocking the blade while you're working it, the safety will take care of you right there. And that kind of leans into the kind of hardworking vibe of this particular configuration. Like I said, the steel's a little bit thicker, so you've got a little bit more kind of brute strength at the spine, a little bit more stability, but not too much. Like, it's still, you're still getting down to a very acute tip right there. You can get some nice precision out of it. So rather than being like an overbuilt tank, it's an overbuilt scalpel. Whatever.
Battlefield surgeries.
Sure, why not? But there you go. Good action on the button lock with it, that centrifugal flick. Reverse flick works great. Thumb actuation, of course, works very nicely as well. The kind of interesting thing about this, or one of the interesting things about this, is it appears as though there's a button on the back, but that's just kind of the back side of the space needed for the button lock to do its thing, to move through the handle. Allows them to maybe keep the handle a little bit thinner. Probably opens up some options as to what handle material they could mount this on as well. But there you go. The Griffin Pro, $48, 3½ inch Sandvik steel blade. I mean, that is a pretty sweet combo. The only criticism I might have for it is the clip's not reversible, so lefties might not be able to use it as well. But that's a really cool knife. Really compelling value at the very least. Next up, we got a bunch of new Kizer Militaws in stock, both the full size and the mini. Here's one of the full sizers. $76 for this 3.36 inch blade of American-made 154 cm steel, drop point with a full flat grind. This knife is pretty distinctive overall. It's got the same kind of blocky shape with the signature inlay front and back. This is black G10 with Microtech wood. Unfamiliar with that in particular, but there are several different inlays to choose from, several different base handle materials to choose from as well. The cool thing about this kind of, I hesitate to say blocky because it's not really blocky, like there's some contour to it, but for lack of a better word, we'll say blocky. The advantage to it is it's pretty adaptable to a lot of different grips, and it's really adaptable to a really full grip as well, in addition to being able to choke back and use that finger groove area. But if you kind of ignore that finger groove, and like if I hold it with my two fingers on either side of it, you know, the bulk of my grip strength is coming here from the back, and it creates a very stable feel overall. Nice. The Mini is kind of the same way. It's a smaller knife, obviously overall. The blade is 2.8 inches long, but the handle does that same thing. You can hold it back here for more precision, or you can choke up, and in my case, with my slightly larger than average hands, there's just enough space there to get all four fingers on that handle without actually coming up onto the blade sharpened area. And there's a lot of power and a lot of strength in that push cut right there at the heel of the blade with that type of grip on a pretty small knife. It's a pretty neat trick to pull off. This is, I think, my favorite handle I've seen on the Militaws yet. It's actually contoured titanium with xalium inlays. I don't know what xalium is. Thomas, do you know what xalium is?
Oh, you were the Trekkie.
It's a zirconium-based alloy known for its non-reactive hypoallergenic properties and superior hardness to titanium. I can tell you all about dilithium crystals all day, but not xalium. I don't know what that is. This one is more premium than the version we just looked at here due to the titanium in the handle and the S45 VN, so a powder metal versus the 154 cm of this other version. So even though this is a smaller knife, it's more expensive at about $180 right now. But again, several flavors to pick from. Frame lock on these knives, milled titanium pocket clip on this upgraded version, ball bearings in the pivot. Great flicking. We've got front flipping as well, which, as you can see, does its job nicely. You've got a frame lock on the bigger one here. Let's try the front flip on that. Maybe it's okay. There you go. Cool new, very successful knife. Bunch of cool new versions to choose from. Next up from Kizer, we've got the Shot. New design here. This is coming in about $67 with a 154 cm blade, about 2.9 inches long. And when I first saw pictures of this, I thought it was a wood handle, but it's actually aluminum with a kind of vintage copper, aesthetic applied to it. It's almost like if you were to have taken copper, blackened it by patinating, forcing a patina, and then brushing it to reveal the texture underneath. It's a really cool look. And being aluminum, I don't know if this is going to be a reactive or a non-reactive finish, so it may darken with time, it may not. I'm genuinely not sure. But I like the variation in color you get too. It's a little bit lighter here. You've got a little bit more red showing up here on the back of this one. I bet you each one's going to be a little bit different one to the next. That's pretty cool. Pretty gentlemanly too, if you can pass the black blade in this case. Index finger groove here would lead you to kind of grip back on it a little bit. And for me, that's kind of a 3.5 finger grip, but nothing preventing you from, again, choking up around that finger groove and getting a full, meat hook grip on this smaller knife. So it's pretty adaptable in that regard. Deep carry pocket clip, liner lock, ball bearings in the pivot, rounding things out. Nice flicking action with the thumb stud. Let's try the front flip. My nemesis. Okay, so for me, I'm gonna be slow rolling that. Apparently I'm not getting a good flick going on with that, but that's usually on me, not the knife itself. A couple Kizer fixed blades. We've got the Cabox, new version of it. Pretty successful knife as well. The previous versions that have been out. We've got, for $89, you got a Nitro V blade, 3.36 inches long, with that, slim enough and highly flat ground enough blade to be pretty slicey, but it still feels pretty strong overall. We've got Ultim handles here and a ring at the back. And this, maybe more than some, kind of really embodies that crossover between self-defense, karambit style inspiration married to a very practical blade. You can do all that self-defense stuff with it. You've got the retention of the finger ring there at the back for those same types of moves that you may be practiced in. But also, if you don't want to use the ring, you can kind of just ignore it. A standard utilitarian grip on this knife doesn't feel out of place. Doesn't feel like you need to have your index finger in the back, and in fact, it feels a little more awkward to do that. Makes it another pretty adaptable design. It's kind of sort of a theme for today. Nitro V steel in this case, as mentioned, so it is a stainless, so you don't need the coating here to keep stain or keep rust at bay, but it's more of an aesthetic choice here. A little bit of texture, you can probably hear that. So it's not the smoothest coating overall. And sheath is Kydex with horizontal or horizontally mounted belt straps here for either appendix or a cross draw type of carry. Let me check real quick. Let's see if you want to apply some other attachment to it. Standard Tech Lock hole spacing will work out for this knife, meaning plenty of options for attachment. Next up, we've got the Hare, as in the rabbit relative, H-A-R-E. An outdoorsy / hunting small fixed blade. $48 for this. D2 steel, about 3 1/8 of an inch long on the length. A little bit on the thicker side to give some more strength. D2 is great at holding an edge, especially at this price point, because of the large carbides that are very hard and very aggressive in how they cut. Those same large carbides, however, do affect the toughness of the steel a little bit. So a little extra thickness there is not amiss on a blade like this. Profile is drop point. You've got an almost full flat grind for a decent slicing combination when you add this thickness into play, and a very robust feel in the hand. As you can see, you got plenty more handle than you do blade here. Orange G10, enough thickness right there to give you a real solid purchase, and to be a good knife for not just a small hunting knife, but any kind of small outdoorsy thing you might be doing. Might not be ultralight, but it's a good size to take out hiking. Be a good camping companion knife, especially to a larger blade as well. The sheath in this case is also Kydex. It comes with the slim dots style attachment here at the back, locks into place on your belt, and you've got holes and slots here, so pretty much any aftermarket solution could be made to work with this nice little sheath. Forgot to mention the coating. D2 is only semi-stainless, so the gray PVD coating that you get on this blade is going to help with that as well. One more folder now from Kizer, the last Kizer today. We have the Exist from Nick Serrano, $60 for this. You can get that with aluminum handles and 154 cm steel. That version is actually $67. Or this one right here with Nitro V steel and linen micarta handles at that $60 price point. What you've got here, in my opinion, is kind of a good replacement or alternative to something like a craft knife or a utility style knife. You've got a 2 3/4 inch length on the blade, and we'll go with first. Let's guess what the website is calling it. Thomas, care to wager?
Undrop point.
They're calling it a drop point. I'm very against that nomenclature. If that came from Kizer, if someone was just adding that from the Kizer site and Kizer said drop point, I'm gonna be a little upset. Anyway, what we have here is, I would say, more of a modified Warncliffe than a drop point. And combined with this this overall curve to it, it gives your knuckles enough space. If you're working down on a surface using that tip for anything, there's plenty of space for your hand while still maintaining a very aggressive cutting angle on carpet, cutting things on a craft mat or a cutting mat, any of that sort of thing. This overall feels really ideal for that sort of thing. It's also handy thanks to the crossbar lock, and this being Kizer, this should be, and indeed is, their clutch lock with adjustable spring tension on the inside if you wanted to mix things up a little bit. Feels good right out of the box though, I always like to say, because it's true. We've also got a fairly deep carry pocket clip, and it is reversible. The whole knife, again, is very adaptable for left or right-handed users. Adding into more of that utilitarian nature, we've got a stretch of jimping here at the back and out there near the tip. So you got that extra traction if you're really bearing down for, you know, this type of cut. And I really do feel like this is the kind of party piece of this design overall. Certainly you can use it for all your other just kind of daily stuff, but I think that's something where it would really excel. Next up, we've got some new pocket fixed blades from our good friend Igor Bortolusi for Viper. This is the Mirror series. We've got the Mirror 1 and the Mirror 2. And as you can see, they are essentially mirrored versions of each other. Specs, what do we got? Just over 3 inches on the blade length, M390 for the steel, so very, very good edge retention on these. Several different handles or handle materials to choose from. I've got the Bacote wood version here, and this is coming in about 152 bucks, which is a pretty good deal. Let me hold it right side up there. That's the problem, they're mirror images. I had it the wrong way. The Ivory G10 here is about 149, and carbon fiber. Other micartas are also available right now. And I did say this is a pocket fixed blade, so let me show you the pocket sheath. Igor, of course, when he was with MKM, came up with their magnetic pocket fixed blade sheath design, and they've been having some really good success with that. And you see that also here on his first product for Viper. It's leather. You've got a magnetic flap, which will hold the sheath in place in your pocket by slipping that inside, and the flap on the outside has the advantage of being fully ambidextrous as well, which is a nice thing too. And in fact, the same sheath works for either one of the mirrors, so it would kind of have to be ambidextrous, wouldn't it, for it to work on either one. Between the two, I gotta say, I really prefer the Mirror 2. I think ergonomically it fits a little better. For me personally, when I hold the Mirror 1, I do find I'm kind of, my fingers getting kind of right on the edge when I naturally grip it, so I'm not as big of a fan of that. If you like the style of this, it would certainly fulfill that kind of role, but for utility's sake, definitely the Mirror 2 is more the way to go for me. You've got a hidden lanyard post here at the back, which is a nice touch. You've got enough length there to get a pretty full grip on it. It's not really a hand-filling grip in terms of the girth of the handle, but it's secure enough because you've at least got all 4 fingers fully engaged on that handle. But it's gonna feel even nicer on those precise tasks. Opening boxes, breaking down some cardboard. Very cool utilitarian shape. Love the crown spine all the way around too. Always a nice touch. There you go. Next from Viper, we've got a larger folder. This is the Safe. 3 3/4 inch blade, M390 steel, coming in $188 right now. Pretty good value actually for all of that, especially when you consider you've got this carbon fiber for the handles as well. But then on top of that already good feature list for the price, you've got their automatic safe lock system. It is this extra little slider here embedded in the liner lock. And what that means is if you were to go to close this knife, you can't just push the liner lock out of the way. You actually have to pull down on that little tab and then push over like a normal liner lock after that point. It takes maybe just a little bit of getting used to, but only just a little bit. It can be very fluid, as you can see right there, when you know what you're doing. And it gives you just an extra added degree of peace of mind when you're using this knife hard. And this does feel like a pretty hard use knife. You've got the thickness to the handle to back that up. It has a very, very full feeling grip. You've got enough thickness on the blade as well, especially again with M390, not the toughest steel. The extra thickness will give you the strength, bring some of that strength back to you, and in addition to maintaining very high edge retention. You've got a Tonto profile, non-compound grind. It's or non-compound ground. It's just full flat ground all the way out. I like it. It's a very gentle Tonto, very little of the transition point right there, but it is there, but only just. So it's gonna be a very nice knife for a drop point guy like myself. Rounding things out, what do we got? We've got a deep carry pocket clip, right side only in this case, and it makes a bit of sense because that's a fairly awkward motion for a lefty to pull off, or at least a right-hander to pull off with my left hand. Lefties, I'm sure if you are into this knife, you would be able to get used to it, but it's a little less intuitive than some other systems. Action, we've got ball bearings in the pivot. You got the flipper tab, which works great, and you've also got the thumb studs for a more standard thumb flick. Either one works great. All right, now we've got some Kizers to take a look at. Like I said, we got a bunch of stuff and more coming too later this week. The Launch 1 is the oldest launch automatic in Kershaw's lineup. It also, hence the number 1. It also happens to still be one of my favorites in the series. It's a fantastic design for a utility or a everyday carry type of use, in my opinion. I have one, I like it very much. This is a new version, however, with MagnaCut steel. So you've got better edge retention and better toughness and better stainlessness than the CPM 154 that than the original version came with. The price on this is about $155 right now. As you can see by the flag, made in America. You've got this blue to black gradient for the aluminum handle. You've also got a black PVD coating on this as opposed to the black wash coating that mine has. Although stonewash the versions for it. Never mind. I'm getting into my mental weeds here. I don't need to share those with you. 3.4 inches on the length, distinctive drop point shape, not too thick on the blade, and it is a very wide shape with a full flat grind. It's got great slicing geometry. And the action that Kershaw gets with these is right up there with some of the best, side opening autos in the industry. You can just feel it. You can probably just hear it coming through as well. Very cool design, very cool to see it getting some new love. We've also got, speaking of automatics, their first OTF automatic, which was released last year, the Livewire, has continued to do absolute gangbusters, and we're seeing a lot of variants coming out as a result. New blade profile here, double-edged with partial serrations on each side with MagnaCut steel here. Again, price on this about $240 right now. Aluminum for the handles, matte diskin design, made in the USA. Very usable switch, very authoritative action. Feels very good. Pocket clip sits at an angle. It is reversible, and it actually will sit at the same angle on the other side. Looks a little off kilter, but in practice, it works just fine in the pocket. Nothing to worry about there. Also cool to see that getting some more love. Next up, the Bel Air. If you watched our video last week, you will know that the Kershaw Bel Air is the top-selling new knife design released this year, and it wasn't even close. This design blew everything else, blew second place out of the water, because it's a fantastic EDC knife, and as befits its status as the bestseller, we are continuing to see some new variants continuing to roll out. There's a lot of continuings there. Sorry about that. 3.1 inch blade, MagnaCut steel, sort of a modified Warncliffe, or as our site calls it, the drop point again. Full flat grind, very thin blade stock, very slim handles as well. Very easy knife to recommend and to carry. It's just a very cool slicer. It's not a heavy do beat stick of a knife. It is more of a scalpel. It's more of a precision cutter. You've still got durability thanks to the full length liners and the crossbar lock right there, but the nature of the blade is really going to lend itself to more, satisfyingly precise cuts. Very deep carry pocket clip sticking out the back of the handle with reversibility built in. Very, very unobtrusive from the outside. Let me just talk about the colors here. Gray anodized aluminum with a black wash blade. Nice subtle motif without being, too black. Sometimes too much black can get boring. In fact, I find it so. We see a lot of black on black knives here, so I like things that aren't that sometimes. Last but not least on the Kershaw front, another MagnaCut blade, another auto. This is the Launch 17, $145 for this new version. MagnaCut blade, 3.5 inches long with that straight clip point profile. Kind of a stylized or simplified version. Stylized is exactly the wrong word that I meant to use there. Simplified version of the more stylized Italian stiletto that it gets its inspiration from. G10 inlays with the green aluminum. deep carry pocket clip with reversibility, and again, that excellent launch action. Not quite as robust as this Launch 1, actually. You can see a little variation in these sometimes. That Launch 1's just really good. But there you go. One more MagnaCut launch to add to your list of considerations right there. And last but not least, and this is one that I just wanted to put on here because normally they are gone so fast I don't even get to hold them. In fact, this is the last one of the small batch of custom hand-ground Andrew Demko custom knives that we got in. The AD10 from Andrew Demko. This is quite pricey, it's about $3,500 bucks. But like I said, the rest of them have already sold out. What you've got here, 3.5-inch MagnaCut blade. We have got a hollow grind on this knife, very thin behind the edge. So even though this is a very robust design, you've still got that bite right there at the edge, thanks to that thin geometry. We've got titanium for the handles. You've got anodized bronze accents, and you've got not the triad lock. This is actually a new lock system that Andrew Demko has developed. He did develop the triad lock. He said this is a way where he can use this without violating the patent, which I think Cold Steel still owns the exclusive license to. And depending on the model, he says some of them, strength is comparable to the triad lock. He said on some, like, it exceeded the triad lock version of that exists. Some they were maybe slightly less, but leads me to believe there are a few more variables than just the lock design coming into play. Which is to say, it's still an extremely strong lock right here. And that's cool. I've never held one of these before. If this is outside your budget, I understand. Thomas could buy a handful of trucks for the price of that. He won't, but he could. Check out the Cold Steel versions. They still are, of course, available and pretty good value as well. That's it for today. That's it for this Tuesday. Stick around for next Thursday if you want more new knives. Let me know what you thought of the knives we showed this week, first half of the week, in the comments below. And of course, to get your hands on any of these, check out the links in the description where you can head over to KnifeCenter.com, where we've recently added Sezzle as a payment option. So some of these pricier customs, you could split that up into 4 easy payments. Don't forget as well about our long-running Knife Awards program, so you can earn some free money to spend on a future knife. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center. That's Thomas behind the camera. We're signing off. See you next time. Thursday.